Hello fellow Star Trek fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of 10 Forward, brought to you as part of the Clonestar podcast. I am your host Mike Overton, and in this week's episode we are checking out Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 8. The episode is entitled Labyrinths. Let's fly. The Breen are mourning the loss of Locke, and Primarch Rune sees the opportunity to unite the other flights in avenging the Scion with the aid of the Progenitor's technology. Mol, however, aims to drive a wedge between the would-be Emperor and his crew. Meanwhile, aboard the USS Discovery, which arrives at the Badlands on the brink of finding the final clue. They are met with a jovial archivist, Hyrel, who provides a playful commentary as the crew navigates the plasma storms in the Badlands. Upon reaching the oasis around the Eternal Gallery and Archive, Hyrel invites the Discovery resident Quajon to view a rare artifact of his doomed species. Captain Burnham invites Book along, expressing no regrets over the handling of Mol previously, as it was merely a part of her duty. Inside the massive space library, Hyrel dismisses concerns about the Breen and presents Michael with the original Betazoid manuscript by Dr. Drex's Labyrinths of the Mind. As Burnham examines the ancient text, she discovers an ornate metal plate that glows when she touches it. Book soon returns, having been gifted a Quajon world root cutting, only to find Michael unconscious on the floor. She awakes to find herself in a mindscape with Book, now a program created by the former archivist, designed to guide her through her subconscious. Recognizing the situation as a familiar challenge, Burnham sets off to solve her latest test. Rayna and Culber, back in the real world, determine it's too dangerous to interfere and decide to observe. As Burnham searches for the clue in the history section, she realises that time is running out and the Mindbury is shutting down. If she fails, she'll be trapped permanently, or die. Meanwhile, the Breen close in and Rune is not pleased with Hyrel's refusal of entry. In the Mindscape, Michael struggles until she realises she's in a book, specifically Labyrinths of the Mind. She must navigate the maze. Avatar Book provides her with a bucket of sand to help her solve the puzzle, and in the real world, Rayna orders the Discovery to hide in the plasma storms as the Breen approach. Michael finally reaches the maze centre only to find the Avatar and, well, no clue. The walls close in as she faces a very real test, proving her worthiness for the Progenitor technology. Frustrated, Burnham denounces the psychobabble of the situation and, well, the Breen arrive, using a shield tunnelling device to send soldiers into the library. The Discovery's crew devise a way to disrupt the Breen's beam, buying some time from Rayna and Book to fend off the intruders. On the Breen dreadnought, Mol exploits Rune's disregard for his soldiers to sway his top lieutenant, planting the seeds of doubt about the Primarch's loyalty to the Scion. Back in the Mindscape, Burnham confronts her fears and vulnerabilities, admitting her fear of failure and the regret over not expressing her feelings to Book. This honesty allows her to pass Dr. Drex's test, revealing, well, the last piece of the map in the real library and imparting critical information for her final destination. Burnham awakes amid the chaos, retrieves the map piece, and they beam out just before the Breen soldiers can reach them. Aboard Discovery, Burnham orders the ship to reveal itself, making it a target for the Breen. Rune demands the map and threatens the innocent lives aboard the library. Burnham agrees, but only if Rune swears a sacred Breen oath not to harm the archive. Tilly quickly assembles the map, giving both sides the Progenitor tech coordinates. Burnham then executes a clever manoeuvre, fooling the Breen into thinking Discovery was destroyed whilst they jumped to safety, a bit severely damaged. Rune decides to destroy the archive, which includes priceless Breen artifacts. Mol seizes his opportunity to rally the Breen crew, denouncing Rune for violating the sacred oath and attempting to destroy their heritage. In a dramatic turn, Lieutenant Azar confronts Rune and Mol kills the Primarch, declaring herself the wife of Locke and the rightful ruler. She vows to use the Progenitor technology to resurrect Locke, gaining the support of the Breen crew as they chant her rallying cry. The scene then fades to black as Mole's political manoeuvring succeeds. I liked this week. I am fascinated by the Breen. I think DS9 didn't play enough into the Breen, and I'm kind of intrigued to see where this goes next. The other thing I'm also kind of grateful for is, well, let's face it, Discovery is known as, redoing certain species, shall we say? We've seen some interesting Klingons and Ferengi and a few others, which I don't mind. I'm kind of neither don't like them or do like them. But I think what they've done with the Breen is pretty well thought out. You can clearly see the distinct, the lineage from the Breen from DS9 through to the Breen that we see today. And as it's a species that we very rarely see or hear of, as I said, I'm fascinated to see where this leads. I'm intrigued to know more about the Breen as a species, and I hope that other Star Trek shows, hint hint, Strange New Worlds, also have a little bit of a Breen interaction, because I'm just intrigued by them. They are one of those few species that we know very little of. So yes, I really enjoyed the Breen elements to this week's episode. Things I didn't like this week. I saw the plot coming. Let's put it like that. I saw Primarch Rune end very early on. I didn't think much of him as a character. I thought he was a bit weak, a bit stubborn. So it was only a matter of time, really, until he got killed off. So that really wasn't a surprise to me. I think they need to do... Well, I think they should have made some differences in the Breen's uniform. It was very difficult to work out who's who, what's going on in the episode at parts. Because it's like looking at Daleks. Everyone looks the same. So, yeah, I think that's something that they struggle. Well, I struggled definitely as a viewer to kind of follow the pace a little bit when it comes to the Breen, just purely because everyone looks the same. So yeah, that's the only thing I didn't like this week. Just, yeah, characters all look the same. So my standout moment this week, I think, has to be the scene where Book receives the World Root. This really kind of put a bit of a spin on things, I think. I think it could also be hinting that the fact that they could use the Progenitor's technology to undo the DMA's destruction, which I think would be a really awesome way to end the season if it happens. But I also think it just kind of... It was a little bit emotional, I think. I think it's the best way to put it. To see Book get a piece of home back, and when Hyrule turns around and says, it belongs to you, we just want you to come back someday and tell us the stories, I thought was awesome. And I think it's a really nice way to kind of give a nod to Quajon, and sow the seeds, as it were, for what's possible, or what's possibly coming at the end of the season. So yeah, my standout moment this week is the scene where Book receives the World Root. Labyrinths was another masterful episode, skillfully balancing sci-fi action with deep emotional drama. The escalation both within and outside the mindscape was well paced, reaching various climaxes seamlessly. The serene beauty of the library served as an ideal backdrop for exploring the series' focal character, highlighted by a heart-wrenching and vulnerable performance by Sonequa Martin Green. The final season constantly ties back to the show's origins by reflecting on Burnham's past. The mindscape element is, well, classic Trek, reminiscent of episodes like The Inner Light and Sacred Ground, where the captain undergoes a test based on internal growth. The Breen confrontation added another layer of nostalgia, echoing classics like Balance of Terror. It was quintessential Star Trek, and, well, David Ajala performed double duty portraying both Dr. Drex's avatar, whilst distinct acting choices that guided Michael to her revelation. The episode leaned into Discovery's characteristic exploration of characters' feelings, effectively tying into the season's overarching plot of Burnham's journey of self-discovery proving her worthiness. Michael's ultimate test culminating in completing this season's MacGuffin, the map. Surprisingly, Burnham handed the map over to the Breen to save the archive, demonstrating her compassion and strategic thinking. She retained key information that the Breen lack, and Culber's spiritual awakening received a nod as he trusted that Burnham was in good hands, despite her being under the influence of an ancient tome. Book's arc also seems to be set for future development with the gift of the Quajan world room, hinting at the potential payoff relating to the progenitor tech. The episode managed to balance big drama with, well, lighter moments, continuing in the season's shift in tone and style. Elena Jakarta was delightful as Hyrule, delivering a quirky yet strict librarian character, and her portrayal of the Ephrosion was a fun nod to Star Trek lore. The brief scenes with Stamets, Reno and Adira techno-babbling through the crisis added a touch of classic Star Trek fun, including Reno's amusing reference to portraying Hesperians. This episode also delved deeper into Breen society technology and showcases the ship's open plan interior. A little bit Borg-like in my opinion. The unexpected death of the Primarch, a relatively one-dimensional villain, shifted the focus to Mol's cunning manipulation, setting her up for the season's true antagonist. Whilst the Breen's motivation remained kind of somewhat mysterious, Mol's use of her knowledge of Locke to manipulate Azar was subtly foreshadowed, despite the challenging of differentiating helmeted Breen characters. Arizar's slightly distinct uniform helped out, but more pronounced differences would have helped clarify his pivotal role. The episode continued the season's strength of interrogating Trek lore, without kind of overdoing it. Placed in the archive in the Badlands offered a modern visual update to the classic DS9 and Voyager location. The mention of the nucleonic beam subtly nodded to the inner light without overly referencing Captain Picard, maintaining a classic Star Trek vibe. Additional nods included Technobabba and a Lower Decks reference from Reno, enriching her backstory and delightful new details. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of 10 Forward. I can't believe there's only 2 more left to go. Remember, if you'd like to catch up with more Clonestar podcasts, check out our website clonestarpod.com for incredible blogs, fan art written by you, and our awesome new merch. Until next time, live long and prosper.